before the end of this decade, a new technology will emerge and the future will be shown to us. I've already been warned many times to stay in my lane. Don't go into this, stay teaching people with a little cash flow game. You know, I'm talking about stay small or we'll stomp on you. I won't talk about conspiracy, but something's fishy about this corona crisis. There's something very fit. Why did they have to shut down the whole damn world? And I think it's because they're covering up something very, very big. And in September 2019, the shadow banking system collapsed. And that's why the Fed and the Treasury are printing tens of trillions of dollars all over the world. So when Corona appeared, I think it was an excuse to shut down the world economy to cover up what really happened. What is going on in the world right now has never happened in the history of the world. I mean, how can you shut down the whole world economy? So in March of 2020 was the biggest crash in world history of the stock market, but nobody knows anything about it because everybody's quarantined at home thinking about coronavirus and social distancing and wearing face masks. So people are missing out on one of the biggest catastrophic cash heists in the history of the world. They don't even know what's happening. And then to have it come through via a virus, or what Nazim Taleb calls a black swan, even more ghastly, and then to shut down the whole world's economy and put millions of people out of work and destroy, small business owners, the lifeblood of the world, to save the rich, the really, really rich, is, I think, criminal. You see, education is rigged, as you know. It's only if you have money. You know that, I know that. So if you live in a rich neighborhood, your schools get more money because the real estate pays for it. When you live in a poor neighborhood, you get the poorest education because real estate taxes aren't high. So everything's about money, but for some reason, we don't teach money at school. But apparently, somebody gave you something to get yourself out of this, and what the millennials have that I didn't have was an iPhone. The iPhone is the single most powerful. I cannot believe how much power that thing has. Holy man. All you have to do is sync your brain to that iPhone. You have more power than you and I ever had when we were their age. Do you know what I mean? The trouble is, if they haven't gone to school and they have a teacher that is incompetent, and we've all had incompetent teachers, their brain and the iPhone are not synced in to making money. Do you know what I mean? And if you can't make money with your iPhone, there's something wrong with your brain, not the iPhone's brain. And that's what I tell young people. So you and I are the news. What we're doing right now is the news. And COVID bacteria and the crash of the economy is the old news. It's the death. And that's the first words Fuller said to my class. In 1981, there was 100 of us. I was about 35 at the time. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, we are the news. What's in the newspaper is old. And what was in the newspaper at the time was Reagan and Star Wars and Russia and nuclear power and all that stuff. He says, that's the death of it all. And he says, before the end of this decade, which is 1980, a new technology will emerge and the future will be shown to us. And in 89, the World Wide Web came out. So exactly as we predicted. So all you young millennials out there and young people, you have the most powerful tool ever created in humanity. The question is, how are you going to use it? You can use an iPhone the way we're doing it right now to educate, to inspire, to teach. Or you can watch porno on it. What's up to you? And the question you and I are always asking is, how come people can't hear it? So the reason what Fuller said to me back in 81 to our class is we are the news. So today, as the world is collapsing behind of us, with the stock market and unemployment, businesses are collapsing, it's fake. It's not real. They're doing it to do it. Some of us will come out anti-fragile. We'll come out stronger, better, more able. And that's why I said, when I saw that iPhone come out, I said, all you millennials, or all you entrepreneurs out there, that cell phone is your lifeline out of this mess. Use it. Metamorphosis is like when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. That's metamorphosis. And the definition of metamorphosis, you can look it up in the dictionary, is the transformation from an immature form to an adult form. Immature form to adult form. In other words, grow up. So for some of us, this crisis will grow up. We'll come out of it anti-fragile. We'll come out stronger.
This is the greatest error in the history of the human race, and I never engage in hyperbole.
Do you foresee this happening again and again and again in the future?
There's no doubt in my mind. In the name of health, you can suppress liberty in America. This is just the first time. They will do it for global warming. About 1/3 of mom and pop businesses will go out of business. So therefore, whereas you now had Jerry's restaurant, you will now have another chain, another Subway, another Chipotle, or what have you. So you will still be able to eat, but it will end or begin to end the ability of people to run what we really enjoy, which is a local restaurant, where you know the people, they know you, where the food is better than at a chain. And so the country will be run by gigantic businesses. And the only reason this happened is because of the people who said 2.2 million Americans will die. So far, 50,000 have. And if you believe it's because of the lockdown, I have a bridge for you. Because Sweden didn't have a lockdown, and it has a tiny percentage more deaths than we do. The United Nations, the UN, which I'm not a fan of, the UN just issued a report. 36 countries will experience famine because of this lockdown. The number of people who will die because of the lockdown may be greater than the number of people who die because of the illness. It's what is happening in the world because of this idiocy. India, 1.3 billion people, sends people out of work in the hundreds of millions. 800 people have died in India. There are probably more people who were run over by cows in the course of a year in India. That was a joke, for the record. This is the greatest error in the history of the human race, and I never engage in hyperbole. Thank God for Sweden, because that's why the quote-unquote experts, they are the most overrated group of humans on earth. Experts are almost all idiot savants. They know their field, and they have no wisdom. So they are worthless, worse than worthless. 2 million prediction of deaths in the United States, and everybody panicked. I think that the belief in America that if you make a lot of money, you have wisdom, is one of the stupidest notions the human species can hold. There is no relationship between making a ton of money and wisdom. You are only good at one thing, which is fine. I don't knock it. You're good at making money. In life, it's a rule. It's very hard to do something the first time. It is very easy to do something the second time. That's a rule of life. This is just the first time. They will do it for global warming. Because remember, this is just 50,000 or 80,000 Americans. But they believe that climate change, aka global warming, is existential. It's an existential threat, meaning a threat to the existence of the human race, not to 80,000, the human race. So if we could close down people's work and livelihood for 80,000, we can certainly do it for the human race.
Do you foresee this happening again and again in the future?
There's no doubt in my mind. The ignorance is created by the panic of the most irresponsible institution on earth, the media. 24/7 news is a curse. I don't watch. I am happy. I listen to music. I read constantly. I know more about this virus than the vast majority of lay people. I have to report on it 3 hours a day on my radio show. I have to write about it in my column. I am up on this issue. I follow it avidly. And the risk is minuscule if you are healthy. It doesn't matter. The 80% of the people who get it don't even know it. By the way, I'll give you another example of how Americans are misled. They're constantly told, oh, the number of cases is skyrocketing, the number of cases. Do people not realize that the more people who actually have had this, the better it is? It shows you how few people die. Let's say we have 1,000 people died in a given state. What's better, that 1 million had the disease or 100,000 had the disease? Obviously, 1 million. So the number, oh my God, look at how many cases. Sweden hopes the whole country had cases. Then they're immune. The number of cases is not a bad thing. The number of deaths is a bad thing. Here is the key to becoming an adult. Most people never become adults. They grow, they get older, but they don't become adults. You become an adult when you decide to become an adult. One of the keys of being an adult is to always ask this question: what is the price? A child doesn't understand that. An adult should. Everything comes with a price. If you get married, what is the price of marrying? What is the price of staying single? What is the price of having children? What is the price of not having children? That is the mature way to lead life. Always ask, what is the price of putting tens of millions of Americans out of work? What is the price of not